Everyone, welcome back to the North American LCS. Rivington here in the interview lounge, joined by Dyrus of Team Solo Mid. Dyrus, coming into these matches this week, it's been, like Jat said, a return of the old guard. You guys have seemed to just kick it into a different gear. What's the mentality behind this?
Right now, for a mentality as a team is to be more team-oriented. In fact, when it comes to our individual performance, I think we're all actually playing a lot worse individually, except for Wild Turtle. And the reason for that is I always hear like, oh, shoot, I messed up, or oh, shoot, I messed up. But when it comes to team fights and objectives, we've been getting that down very well.
And how has that changed? The communication comes from Reginald, obviously, in the beginning. What's going different?
Since the 310 patch, our picks are a lot different. We're not really tunnel visioning on like what's only OP. Well, we kind of are, but we kind of are. It's kind of a mix of both and what we're comfortable with playing. We're not banning out our own champions as much, luckily. I don't know, we're just doing well.
And speaking of mentality and now picks, what is the mentality like when you have a champion like Rumble? With all the history that you've gone through with it, obviously in lane, now using it yourself, what's it like to know you can always have an impact on the game?
For Rumble, I'm always looking for the team fights, but my biggest weakness on Rumble, with probably 90% to 100% of the games, is I always miss creeps. Like, I literally missed like 20 last hits this game, and that's just unacceptable in my mind, so I usually go on tilt. But since we're tilting over to being a team-oriented team and just communicating and, you know, not playing for greed, not playing like solo queue, not playing as individuals, but playing as a team, it's been a lot better on my mind, where I can rest at ease, where, you know, even if I do like I have a little shaky lane phase and I make like a little bit less of a smart decision, that I can always rely on my team to, you know, play team fights properly, pressure objectives, and let's say 4 of us are top and I'm bottom, I'm like, don't fight, I'm not there. We actually back off a little bit now instead of, you know, just going all in for it. So we're actually listening to each other a lot in terms of communication.
Well, from the 18-minute Rumble alt engagement at Dragon that you guys really turned that tide of the game with, and the Shen ultimates more spot on than, you know, you have previously wanted in the past, really bringing it all out. Like you said, sometimes everybody's faltering, but everyone comes together in the end. And kind of, we talked about this earlier, that you guys have been on a tear. What else is in the back of your mind that is causing this gameplay to come out from TSM?
One of the biggest reasons is we don't want to get relegated. The first thing that came through our mind, you know, when we lost a lot and we ended up in 3rd place. I didn't even realize we were 3rd place until later on, but Reggie was going on and on about, we can't get relegated, guys. We have to win. We have to go 5-0 this week. We can't lose. Losing is not an option, or we'll all be poor and broke. And, you know, that mentality has been driven into me, and what that brings up is there's a lot of stress when it comes during scrims, where there's been a lot of times where we scrim and something goes wrong and I go on tilt, and usually we bring up everything now. We don't really, you know, let things go by. When we have a mistake, we don't, you know, move on and be like, whatever, just don't do it again. We actually address the issue, like I've said before in past interviews. We're addressing it and we're just getting better.
And coming up, a few more questions for you. Within the rest of your games, who are you looking at to give you the most trouble?
Who are we playing again?
You guys have quite a few games. Off the bat, I don't know. Just in general, you guys have come up to have already 2 games that were Coast and Velocity. So they've been towards the bottom. You have Cloud9 coming up. So obviously, they're going to put up a fight.
Our main focus is probably Cloud9, obviously, because they're first. After watching their game, it seems that the 310 patch has hurt them a lot. But we should always play at our best, and we'll see how it goes.
And obviously, Super Week, very long. Final question for you. I kind of asked Smithy this as well. With all of these matches, with having to show your card, your hand, how do you stay unpredictable in a Super Week?
Well, the biggest reason for being unpredictable, and that applies to all teams, is because before Super Week, we had a lot of time to practice. Every single team has had at least a week and a half or, a lot of time to practice for Super Week. So you don't really know what anyone's ever going to play, whether they're going to stick to what they're doing as always. When we do research, we see all these different picks and we have no idea what teams are going to play. It's 3-10 patch. The only way for us to predict what other teams are doing is that we've scrimmaged against them and we kind of have an idea of what we want to ban out.
So as it goes, the environment you guys are forced to play in manifests the situation day in and day out.
Yes, and the way we prepared for that is in all of our scrims, we just try to learn to play against everything because when the time comes, we're not going to be able to have enough bans. And we're just going to focus on what's strong for our team comp and what's good against theirs. And we're just going to target ban people.
All right, Darius, thank you very much for the interview. Congrats on the wins. Best of luck in the next Cloud9 matchup. More games to go coming up for the NA LCS today. Like we said, it's Super Week. It's still Kobe and Freak. Guys, take away the next game.
Thanks very much, Riv, and it is time for that 6th game of Super Week, Team Dignitas versus Vulcan. And for Man, Cloud, and Crew, they only need one more win to lock down 2nd place, the 2nd bye in the North American LCS playoffs, and the 2nd berth in the Season 4 Spring Split, because they took down Cloud9 earlier today.
Yeah, and remember, that was all because Vulcan was able to roll 3 kills in that level 1 fight into their 2nd win over Cloud9. And that could actually have easily been Vulcan's 3rd win over the league's top team if they hadn't blown that huge lead against Cloud9 back in Week 5. So Vulcan are looking to be a very scary team heading into the playoffs.
But on the other side, Dignitas' playoff position took a hit after they lost a very exciting match to Curse earlier today.
Yeah, Dignitas were able to claw their way back into that game to make it pretty close, but in the end, they couldn't stop Curse's Nexus push, and now they find themselves in 5th place after starting off the day in 3rd, in a tie for 3rd.
Yeah, so to make things worse, now Dignitas faces Vulcan, and this is a Vulcan that has taken all 3 games head-to-head so far, so Vulcan looks good in this game.
Well, a big reason for that is the top laners. We've got Vulcan Psycho Sid owning Kiwi Kid in lane, and he's got the stats to prove it. But that's not surprising, since Kiwi Kid actually has died more times than anyone else in the entire North American LCS. Through 8 weeks, he's died 104 times, while Psycho Sid had the highest KDA of any top laner coming into today at 5.37.
So, of course, we're just about to get ourselves into the game and see if Psycho Sid can help Vulcan top Dignitas one more time. So let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's going to be Dignitas, Kiwi Kid, Crumbs, Skara, I'm a Cutie Pie, and Patoy.
And on the red side, it's Vulcan. Up top is Psycho Sid, jungling is Smithy, ManCloud's mid, Zuna's on AD carry, and Bloodwater is supporting.
So we get ourselves into the game, and it's interesting to look at sort of lineups and stuff kind of going into this game, because Dignitas have had the same lineup actually from the first split to the 2nd, and they've been normally kind of holding steady at sort of a top half of the pack, right? This is the first time we've really seen them sort of at this part of the split where they're actually below half. They're down in 5th place. They're looking a little bit weaker. Whereas you look at Vulcan, and ever since they added Bloodwater, they've only gone upwards. Right, they got 3rd place in the playoffs, only losing to TSM in the semifinals. They're 2nd place in the split. Here, it seems this new lineup for them has consistently done well.
Yeah, it's hard to even remember what Vulcan were like without Bloodwater. At this point, I don't even remember the plays that they could come up with, because he's such a crucial part of that team right there. He makes the in-game calls as well as comes up with a lot of the compositions that they use.
Mm-hmm. And you know, being highest kill participation in the league, the highest percentage there, he puts himself into those fights.
Helps because he does use Sona, and she's able to get the heals out to a lot of people with the auras. Always helping.
He's getting fake assists, unworthy assists.
He's getting real assists.
Okay. Oh, okay. So all right. I don't know. It seems like you just turned back and forth in that one. Like, well, it helps that he plays Sona. No, they're real assists. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Bloodwater. I didn't mean it. Don't crescendo me.
He's scary, man. Have you seen?
Yeah, he lands every skill shot. I mean, it's hard to queue people with Sona. He's really mechanically gifted with those Sona plays.
Definitely. The flash crescendos, you can't give credit for those. On the other side, though, Patoy, for Dignitas, in that last game where they were versus Curse, he was on Sona. He was having a little bit of problems there. There was a couple of instances where he could have made some game-changing flash crescendos, and they didn't. They missed, maybe one person or 2 people, and they weren't able to come out with a win on that one. But another thing from that game we have to remember is the Zed. I think that Dignitas are going to put a high priority on Zed again because Scarra was such a big threat with that champion.
And think about it. That was actually the strategy coming in for Vulcan. We talked to Smithy, I think it was, in the interview, and he said, yeah, you know, we know that High's big champion is Zed, so we first picked it. Well, Vulcan's on red this time. They don't get the chance to first pick that away. And I want to see if that becomes then a ban strategy for them, or if they're like, don't first pick it, don't first pick it, don't first pick it. Like, do they give them Shen or something that they really care about in order to steal this away? Maybe Elise?
Yeah, I think it's going to be highly contested because both Scar did really well with it and Mentor Cloud did really well with it. So they're fine with picking it away. They don't have to ban it away. And that along with the Sona, because both of these teams, the very last game they played, used the Sona.
Yeah, so it's fun to watch the teams that have these contested picks and the ones that matter so much for these guys. And it's interesting to sort of look at the adaptations. When you share champion pools, when you don't, Dyra said they stopped banning their own champions finally. And he said that was actually really important to stop doing that and not removing their own options here. So that's always the fun mind game. I always kind of like looking at the champ select mind games and saying, you know, what are the bans? Do we target ban? Right, we've seen Riven now come through twice, allowed for Team Coast, and well, they haven't won any games yet. It seems like that's not a required ban here that you need to do to beat these guys. Of course, Riven finally getting her first loss here for Coast. And so, yeah, which picks you can steal, which ones still make a good comp for you, because you throw Zed into a team that doesn't use Zed, and you actually hurt yourselves.
Yeah, and it's so interesting how that pick span phase has become such a huge part of the LCS. A lot of these teams spend a good chunk of their practice time just thinking of compositions and thinking of the ban pick phase. We've seen teams even like TSM play those mind games and not use their last ban. If you're not first pick, you don't have to ban out everything that you think is strong. If you leave 2 things that you think are strong, 3 things that you think are extremely strong and both teams want, the first pick team only gets 1 pick. So you can play those games where you say, okay, we'll give you your first pick, but then we're going to get the next 2 strongest.
Exactly, and speaking of TSM, remember that game against CLG a while back where they're like, they're letting us have Karthus. There must be a reason. And they picked something else. It's the only non-Karthus TSM game we've had. But guys, we're into the game, of course, with Dignitas and Vulcan here. These guys fighting still. Vulcan to guarantee themselves a second place spot. Dignitas still very much in the battle for playoff position. I don't think they want to start off the week 0-2. It's not good for momentum. So the Ahri, the Evelynn, the Shen all dropped away from Vulcan. Vulcan dropping off Scarra's Kassadin, the Ezreal from MQTPie, and yes, they are going to ban away the Zed, gives away Elise.
So because, yeah, they aren't first pick, they're going to end up just banning that one off the table, but Elise, we talked about it before, very, very highly contested, and Crumbs loves this champion.
And he's been playing it a lot recently, and there we go, the Sona that we talked about, highly contested. The Zac was actually played by Kiwi Kid last game, by Crumbs otherwise earlier on in the week, so you know, contested picks stolen away on both sides, definitely.
And even though Kiwi Kid got to play Zac with the revive passive, still dying a lot. Still
over 8 deaths.
Yeah, most deaths in the
Would have been 14
American LCS. We can't count every time the passive is popped. Also,
otherwise,
because
that
would just
3 times the number.
That would just make that would make it terrible.
Meteos KDA would drop by 7 or something. All right, instead, though, 25 seconds still to go. Scarra discussing with his team what they want to go for. I always like reading the facial expressions, like, what are we going to go for here? Crumbs going to grab the Lee Sin and the support Fiddle coming back here for Patoy.
Very, very good choice here, I think. I love it when Patoy is on those playmaking champions with the heavy CC, because he is definitely one of the supports that sets up plays. He single-handedly can get your team kills. So great to have him on that Fiddlesticks, and we'll see if they go for one of those 2 versus 1 situations and actually try and take advantage of the kill potential.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've heard commented where his early landing's not the best. Darkwind's okay, but rank 1 Terrify doesn't do a heck of a lot, so Dignitas might just look for that 2v1 matchup here and see what kind of pushing they can have happen. Of course, with Crumbs in the jungle, you can make tower dives happen pretty nicely as well. Of course, Vulcan still considering their last couple of picks right here. They've been hovering over Karthus for most of the time. I actually like that pick from ManCloud. I think he's a very good Karthus. He's so mechanically good, he'll get just massive amounts of farm in that champion, and they are going to go for it, as well as this nice little Cataclysm Defile combo. I like that.
Yeah, they're locking up a lot of team fight power right here on the Vulcan side. They have so much area of effect. Most of their damage right now, almost all of it, is area of effect. And meanwhile, Dignitas are, again, they're a team that likes to use the slippery champions that make plays through dashes, and they've already chosen that again. Even their support with the ultimate does have a slight jump himself. So with the Lee Sin and the Elise, they're already very elusive champions, and they're going to be trying dodging, dipping, and diving, as Riv said, inside and out of all of these area of effect abilities that Vulcan are using.
And they got to dodge that ball. And of course, it's interesting to look at. There's always the chance that you Crow Storm into a Cataclysm, and you're like, thanks, Jarvan. You're feared, by the way. You can't turn it off. Please die real quick. Dignitas going to go back for I'm a Cutie Pie's favorite AD carry of Graves, and they're going to make their last pick here. The Gragas coming in for Scar. That's a bit of a throwback.
This is actually one of the oldest counters to Karthus.
Yeah.
Way back in Season 1, Gragas used to be the go-to counter for Karthus because of the movement displacement from his ultimate. You just knock Karthus back, try and get him out of there. If you knock him all the way to the back lines, then you don't have to dodge all the Skittles here. You know, if you can dodge a lay waste, then you can dodge a ball.
We'll see if Dignitas has to taste the rainbow here against the Skittles and Man Cloud. They've got one more pick to come through here. Vulcan going for the last choice. It is going to be the Zuna. Why not? Worked last time. The Zuna Tristana taking down turrets endgame. And by the way, speaking of late game team compositions, Tristana Karthus up there is one of the most happily 50-minute team comps.
I was going to say, right now we have very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Dignitas are going very, very hardcore into this early game. They've got the Lee Sin for making plays very early, the Elise for making plays early. Graves, when he gets his Bloodthirster and Last Whisper, that's when he's at the maximum power potential for that champion, because he gets the most bang for his buck with flat AD scaling from his abilities and armor penetration. So if Cutie Pie does go with just that 2-item combo right there, they're going to hit an amazing spike in the mid game that they will have to press very hard on this Vulcan team, because, like we said, Vulcan just like to wait on that Tristana to get level 18, so they have the range to take down turrets, and they've got so much area effect that if we do get to the late game, it's going to be hard, no matter how many dashes you have on Dignitas, to be able to get through all that area of effect damage and take out Tristana.
We'll see if they can do it, of course. And you've got to think about as well what you do if you not only just push the Karthus back, but what if you knock someone into your team with Gragas? You've got a whole bunch of guys who like assassinating one dude. You've got Elise, you've got Lee Sin, you've got the 3-second fear from Patoy, and the Graves Burst. So there's good synergies both ways. The counter to Karthus and the synergy with a knock in if they want it.
Right, it's just that the pick potential here for Team Dignitas is completely reliant on their skill shots. It's either the Cocoon from Kiwi Kid's Elise or that ulti from Sky's Gragas. So little bit chancy team here for Team Dignitas, whereas Vulcans seem like sort of a solid tank-like castle team with their very area effect-oriented champions.
All right, so we'll get ourselves into the game. And Dignitas, of course, versus Vulcan. An important battle here. Vulcan wins this. They get second place. Dignitas, they get this one, and they hold themselves a little bit closer into the playoff race. And one thing I wanted to point out while we were in the loading screen a second ago is the teams normally wear their own summoner icons, and all of Vulcan are wearing Vulcan icons. Dignitas, only Patoy's wearing one. Kiwi Kid's actually wearing a Gambit icon. So showing some real team love here is Dignitas.
That's right. Spread the love around to the EU.
Anyway, they're going to go ahead and on forward. Look for the level 1s. Kiwi Kid gets spotted out. Of course, spots the rest of Vulcan. Actually takes down those Spiderlings as well. So a little bit of a gold lead now to that Vulcan lineup. 30 gold picked up for Spiderling kills both those two Smithy. So that man's going to be nice and happy.
So the Spiderlings in 310 did get a little bit squishier. Took out a lot of the health, but added in armor. So they do die a bit quicker, and even more quickly against people who bring armor penetration.
Okay, Kiwi Kid is actually spamming some abilities right now, because I was thinking you only get Spiderlings back if you cast abilities in human form. And so he's got to cast some of those things and get the Spiderlings back. Otherwise, he's going to be just a little bit weaker at level 1. And they have to hit an enemy, by the way, so he can't even get them right now. He has to hit someone with W or he gets no Spiderlings. I don't know. I thought it was cute. If he was jungling, that would suck.
So the reason that he did start with the W, and that's what he was spamming, is because that spider will give you vision. And since his Spiderlings are dead, he can't pull the trick where if you change from human form into a spider, then your Spiderlings will spawn and walk around walls to give you vision. So he got W instead to be able to check bushes.
And did see them coming in, of course. Lost his little lings, but he'll be all right. Now, Vulcan, they're going to start things out pretty standard. They got some aggressive wards down, but they're going to go for their own Lizard buff. But here is Dignitas trying something a little bit cute. They're going for Vulcan's blue buff, and only Psycho Sid is here to defend it. This could be a steal for Dig.
So there's no smite in this blue buff war over here. So this is very interesting. Both of these sides actually have the potential to steal it away. QtPie is the one tanking the golem, but Psycho Sid is not backing off here. He's trying to get down as much fast as he can. Patoy's doing work with those Fiddlesticks autos.
Autos hurting him bad. Unfortunately for Dignitas, they will not get the steal away until they bring in their own jungler. Meanwhile, Smithy has his red buff, smites away, steals the blue, and there's Crumbs. Crumbs says, oh, that just happened.
He got the slow onto Smithy, but it's only a level 1 Elise. No cocoon available. They can't chase him down. Great job by Smithy, grabbing up an extra buff.
3.4K on each side right here. Vulcan, a little bit of an early lead. There we go. See, they have a gold lead. Okay. Anyway, definitely some early good moves here for Vulcan. Scar in the duel against ManCloud. And they're actually holding pretty equal as well. I want to see. There we go. Yes. Crumbs is moving his way over, trying to grab the enemy blue buff. But Smithy's going to come down there as well. This is going to be a little bit of a fight potentially.
And just want to say, the reason that Smithy was able to get over there in the first place to get this buff discrepancy is because he is on that Jarvan, and he can use the flag toss combo to get over the back of that Baron wall. And that's how he's one of the very few champions that could get to that blue buff that quickly. But all of his efforts were in vain. Crumbs does end up getting one back, and it's 2 buffs for each team.
2 buffs each. Good job, Dignitas, bringing their bottom lane over there, the duo lane, using them to support that one and making it still happen. So, no major buff advantage. However, Vulcan are sitting on still a bit of a gold lead. QtPie, having to leave his lane so many times, has brought him a minion kill deficit against Zuna. It's 13-21, and a lot of turret pressure coming through.
So remember that fight over the blue buff at the start of the game. That's really where QtPie lost out on the first bit of minions, because they spent so much time trying to contest that golem with Psycho Sid. That was actually bad for Dignitas, because QtPie was losing out on minions during that whole time, and Psycho Sid wouldn't have been getting minions anyway, because he was going to a 1 versus 2 situation.
So good moves then by these Vulcan players. They've got themselves 300 golds. 300 golds, yes, 300 gold in the lead. And Smithy right here actually lurking around, but the engage in the top lane. Bloodwater taking a bit of damage. Comes the Kiwi Kid, dropping some health bars, but Smithy still looking for this gank. He's
been able to sneak his way in here, and Skara does have his belly slam, so he's got the body slam to get out of this one.
And there's the knockup onto Skara. Half HP Skittles are landing. Skara gonna have to walk his way back out, but the re-engage here in the top. Crumbs, wow, dropped dangerously low thanks to Zuna's auto attacks, but still the harassment across in Bloodwater. Very low on mana, can't sustain much longer.
And Smithy opting to go back to farm the jungle now. So in the lane power is currently in Dignitas' favor. They have a 2 versus 2 up top, whereas there's a 2 versus 1 down bottom, and that turret is going to start taking some extra damage.
This could be scary for these guys. There's QtPie and Patoy dropping down the last of these minions right here. And now they've got lane control turret, still close to full HP, I should say, right now.
That extra armor, we've talked about it so many times.
Helping.
People are probably aware of the fact that the turrets have more armor now.
Did you know the turrets have more armor? Not sure if everyone's aware just yet.
8 minutes.
First 8 minutes. And Kiwi Kid, of course, still trying to keep his alive. You notice that his turret, though, bonus armor or not, taking a heck of a lot more damage anyway. Down to about 1/3, and another wave still coming through. So while Scar's holding on well, Kiwi Kid not so much.
I like this, the adaptation here, and you know, Zuna and Bloodwater are doing a lot of work up top there. They really making a push to get the first turret.
It's likely to fall soon unless they can get enough help from Crumbs. That Leeson is making his way up. Maybe it'll happen right here. We still look at the mid lane sort of battle, and it's just a farm fest between these guys. They're just last hitting minions very, very well. 43-38. Good bit of gold coming in from these guys. And now Crumbs on the defense. Will Zuna and Bloodwater do enough damage? Meanwhile, Smithy looks towards the bottom lane. QtPie Patoy not having nearly the same success right here. Knockup comes by onto QtPie. Will that be enough? Oh, great fear on a Psycho Sid, stopping it from jumping in. Smithy's gonna get out, but the re-engage in the top lane. Zuna forced to jump away. Repel used by Kiwi Kid. Still no kills, just fights back and forth.
We are having brawling in both of these side lanes, but the timer is clicking in Vulcan's favor here. They are the more late game oriented team, and continuing to farm up like this, whether it's 2 vs 1 or 2 vs 2, is fine with Vulcan right now.
And ManCloud now has hit level 6, and Scar's explosive cast is on cooldown. So there's a chance here that the side lane fight can happen. The hardcore dive comes in, and Requiem just seals the deal. See if Vulcan can do it.
Having that extra global damage there from the Karthus will be huge. But again, the roaming from Skara was what made people ban Gragas against him back in Spring Split. This was one of his main champions. People forget, because he stopped playing it for so long, because people were banning against him, that this was what was initially so fearful about Skara as a mid laner. He would shove that lane, and then he'll roam either top or bottom to create plays.
But speaking of roaming, look at the pressure now by Vulcan onto the blue buff of Dignitas. Smithy and ManCloud already onto this one. Looks like it's gonna be just grab here. Smithy smiting to make sure no one steals that one away. But now he's maybe in a bit of a rough spot. Skara could get a collapse onto him.
Smithy completely out-jungling Crumbs right here. Kept the timer on that blue buff that he was able to steal away, and immediately was there to take it back. Not only did he get the blue buff, but they also drew Kiwi Kid and Crumbs away from the turret, allowing Zune and Bloodwire to finish that one off. So first objective down, Vulcan are on a good path right here.
Absolutely beautiful play by them. First turret, more buffs controlled, and a 1,500 gold lead. Vulcan, again, we talked about how good their early game was and how they kind of crushed on Cloud9 early on. They're doing the exact thing here to Dignitas. Maybe not 3 kills at level 1, but certainly an early game lead as Crumbs just has to take his own red buff and sadness.
Well, you can definitely see that's what everyone's talking about, the importance of timing all the buffs and the objectives on the map, so you can make those players die. It's only a few seconds as a jungler that make the difference between a huge level like that, because if you're able to steal away a buff, that's the difference between level 5 Crumbs and level 6 Smithy.
Definitely a lead for him right here, and it's really the only guy who's, I think, keeping up is Skara. You look at 42 to 48 with a lost turret. That's Kiwi Kid versus Psycho Sid. You look at Zuna versus I'm a Cutie Pie. Big lead for Zuna. Already has his BF sword and a 14 kill lead, as well as, again, that turret that he took down a little while ago. It's only Skara holding up, and that's kind of what happened in the Curse game, and he almost carried it, but it's a tough thing for Dignitas.
Yeah, with the lane phase going this well for Vulcan, scared of what this game will look like in 10 minutes, because they actually even have control of Dragon right now. They've got plenty of wards up, and the move from Dignitas will have to be to pick someone off. Dignitas need to grab a kill in one of these side lanes.
Well, they're looking for it with Crumbs right now. He's lurking around in the shadows. No ward spot him actually at all right now. There's actually very little ward coverage here to see him. However, it's the Psycho Sid versus Kiwi Kid battle. Kiwi Kid not in the best place. Ult comes off. Good flash dodges away. Ignites burn on both sides. Psycho Sid not going to win that battle, but there comes the Requiem. Goodbye to Kiwi Kid. First blood picked up. And there's the revive for Psycho Sid.
And Skara actually had just roamed down in the river. The other reason that Gragas is picked against Karthus is because you can ulti him away when he's channeling the Requiem, but Mandatory Cloud backs off into the lane, can't see him anymore, and Skara just makes a little walk around the mid there. Nice little circle, doesn't get anything done.
Very well played, and now a pink ward as well for Smithy. So we talked about Dragon Control, much stronger now as well for the Vulcan lineup. He even tosses the flag in Tribrush, spots Crumbs, I think, with it. It says, hey guys, Lee Sin's waiting around, but if you guys want, we can take down Dragon soon.
Yep, pink ward down on that one. Oh, the crescendo saves Zuna.
Flash attempt there, Cutie Pie forced to burn his barrier, but
whoa!
Oh, Zuna close attempt. Will Lee Sin go in? Crumbs looks for it. Barrier pop now here as well. Crumbs losing a lot of HP. There's the Terrify. Cutie Pie sniper that one away. The Crow Storm coming across, forcing Flash away from Bloodwater, but that's still an engage that went well for Dignitas. Skara and
I was gonna.
That's all I needed to say.
I was gonna analyze that fight down bottom, but you were so intent on this this meeting of the Gragas and Jarvan there in the middle. It did come down to a nice couple slaps there for Smithy with the stick, but no big damage gonna go down to Skara. Really though, I want to talk about that bottom lane. That actually it transitioned into this dragon, but it was a great play by Bloodwater that didn't quite finish off Cutie Pie.
Yeah.
And in those situations, sometimes it's more harm than good because Zuna's sort of, quote-unquote, baited in by Bloodwater's nice play there to almost kill Cutie Pie. Then he overextends. Flashes, barriers, and dies.
And Crumbs had actually stayed around, even though he got spotted by Smithy's flag. He was like, nah, I'm just going to chill here. I'm still expecting the flash crescendo, or just the crescendo, as it were. So like I said, they're going to look to re-engage a little bit against Kiwi. No, I'm just going to keep his turret alive. So Vulcan just sitting at this 2,000 gold lead. Of course, they had first blood, first turret, first dragon. Skara tasting the rainbow here, though. ManCloud dropping his health bar.
Yeah, you talked about how good ManCloud is at Karthus. And in the early game, you see that manifest by the CS numbers. He's definitely done his job. He's got the most in the entire game here, and that is very scary. He's rushed the Rod of Ages, which will be at full strength around that 20-minute mark. So he is ticking up very nicely here.
He's already had it for 2 minutes so far. You're right, 20 minutes, almost exactly the marker here. Mandatory Cloud just blasted at some minions, why the heck not? Psycho Sid, though, still picking a battle with Kiwi Kid. Remember, this turret has already gone down, so Sid can just go right back in. Requiem is available, remember. Sid, though, still diving forward, gets cocooned in the face. Bit of damage from Kiwi Kid. Here comes the jump in. Good repel, but he's got nowhere to go. Psycho Sid re-finds Kiwi, dropping the health bar lower and lower. Here comes Crumbs, though. Requiem comes across. Will it be enough? Psycho Sid likely to fall over, but it is going to be a trade. 1 for 1 here. Good re-engage by Dignitas.
So Dignitas, they did have to commit their jungler to that, though, which means that there's a discrepancy down bottom. It's going to be 3 versus 2 here. Smithy goes in.
Flash engage does not quite land onto I'm a Cutie Pie. Good attempt, though. But Toy was forced to flash away from that one. So still a 3 for 2. The crescendo also still available. And Vulcan forced Dignitas off of that bottom turret. So this could be 2 turrets now picked up for Vulcan if nothing happens.
Crumbs now making his way. Q's over to the golems, but it's very, very close here.
Now it's a little bit tenuous. The turret down only to about 200 HP right there, but does survive. Good job, Crumbs, showing up for his team. Vulcan still showing interest, though. They're sticking around as Crumbs just takes down double golems. Looks like there's still going to be a 3v3 for the structure.
Now, we ragged on Kiwi Kid a bit in the opening of this, but he's been doing an outstanding job. Yes, he did go down there, but they were able to get all of that extra damage onto the turret down bottom because the jungler was drawn up top. And again, with the Requiem from Mandatory Cloud, they did trade the kills.
And they did. So I'm a Cutie Pie. Here we go. Taking damage. Of course, Crumbs waiting around. This is just the push for this turret. They're still around. You saw Skara roam for a second, but come back up. Vulcan and the rest of the team, they're just still pushing down this turret under siege, and that will be Dignitas giving up the structure. Good job by Vulcan, holding everyone there and saying, look, we'll get it eventually, and there we go.
All right, so Vulcan do end up getting that turret. And again, Kiwi Kid has gone to a little bit deep in that top lane. Psycho Sid has not hesitated every time his ulti comes back up to fully engage with Kiwi Kid. So another 2 seconds, and he'll have that one available once again.
Alrighty, so good pickups here. Let's see what's up next. Psycho Sid, yeah, he wants to keep fighting Kiwi Kid. 92 to 94 in minions. Very similar builds from these guys as well. Some extra magic resist, some magic penetration and magic resist. These guys definitely knowing who they are brawling in these battles. Smithy hasn't stolen a buff now in a little while. The red buff just a second ago did go to Crumbs. Smithy just getting his own as well right here. So a lot of the pressure actually from Vulcan seems to have toned down.
Gara was actually heading over there to try a sneaky little red buff steal with the combo, but doesn't quite get there in time. So there's no action right there, and Smithy is able to secure his own red. Meanwhile, we haven't seen a lot of action here. Skara roaming down towards Mandatory Cloud, though.
No, not finding anything. These guys are just, they're playing the slow game. I mean, it's Vulcan who are the team that are in control. And it's funny because you look at, it's like the Curse versus Dignitas game. Right? You've got a team who's like, man, we're going to scale so well, but we're not engaging on you. Right? Kiwi Kid jumps in, but easy escape for Psycho Sids. It's like, Vulcan can wait around 25 minutes and just be like, yeah, it's 6-item Karthus Ristana. So, like, they don't have to push, they just occasionally are.
They do have Requiem, though, right now, so fighting this 2 versus 2 up top would definitely be in Vulcan's favor because they've got the extra damage.
And there we go, Crumbs dodging back, kicking away the Zac as well. Well played there by Crumbs, trading ultimates and getting a decent trade out of that one. Skara just holding here, got a farm under his turret, easy minion kills for him. There we go. All right, the minion's still coming on through. It's just the farm game. These guys, Dignitas haven't quite found the openings they're looking for. Crumbs has been trying his hardest to look for openings in ganks. And Vulcan, they're just kind of immune to getting ganked. They're just not falling over in these. They're the ones forcing the trades. Otherwise, they're, as you said, the timer goes in Vulcan's favor. They're just waiting around.
Yeah, and one of the main point forcing those trades has been, you know, Psycho Sid up top on that Zac, rushing the Spirit Visage. Let's just talk about how perfect of an item Spirit Visage is for Zac.
Okay.
Every single thing that's on that item is exactly what Zac wants. He's going up against Elise, so magic resist helps him in the laning phase. Plus, it's going to help him later because it's a dual AP team. Okay. And then he gets the increased self-healing. Zac is one of the champions in the game that has quite possibly the most self-healing of any champion because of the bloblets that he's constantly picking up. And cooldown reduction scales his damage here, but we're having an action bottom. Cutie Pie having to run for his life from Smithy.
Flash in from Zuna. Oh, the barrier, but here comes the Requiem.
Oh!
Goodbye, I'm a Cutie Pie. Kill picked up. That has been every kill for Vulcan. Has been, let's push, lots of damage. And Requiem.
He wanted to take the blue pill. There we go. Crescendo only hits Crumbs.
And the knockback onto Zuna. Look at the damage output there. Poor little Yordle trying to run away. Good barrel by Skara. Another 1-for-1. Doesn't quite land the body slam, but will they keep chasing? Smithy and Bloodwater. One's low on health, one's low on mana. The flash! Nice pickup there for the slow, with the re-engage on a Patoy. The dunk as well. Smithy's gonna pick that one up, but that has traded back. Another 1-for-1 here, but that has allowed ManCloud to push down the mid lane. Now Skara with a bit of a mana bar, looking for Bloodwater. Bloodwater now out of mana, lands a barrel. Skara, can you land the body slam? Not quite.
Oh, it's hard to run in heals, but he's got Mandatory Cloud.
He's trying to float away. Can he? And he's body blocking. Look at Mandatory Cloud. Body blocking Skara, not allowing the jump in, but look at Psycho Sid versus Kiwi Kid. That's a health bar difference. Almost has the damage, the flash away. The flash W does, he cast it too short. No, Kiwi Kid, no. Oh, does not pick up Psycho Sid. That Spiderling was not the best.
Mandatory Cloud just saving everyone on his team right now, coming to the rescue. What a hero. First save Sona. She probably doesn't even have heals under there. She's floating. Can't really tell. But he also saves the mini Zac over on top. There goes the ulti from Skara.
Doesn't quite land on Azuna though. Doesn't knock him into the team. Nice try. Just a little bit misaimed. And that's not going to be too much more picked up here. Vulcan are winning in kills now for the first time in a while, 5-4. Of course, turrets have still been their game. But Dignitas, they're feeling good enough. They've started up on Dragon. And this could be theirs.
All right, the 5v5 fight is actually going to go down before. Here, Crumbs wants to finish this Dragon. He's sitting the Q on it, but he misses the smite. Smithy with the steal.
Smithy takes it away, and there's Psycho Sid jumping on in. Kiwi Kid so low on health, forced to jump up. Crumbs now alone. Psycho Sid kind of holding on the rest of the team. Kill picked up there for Zuna, and here's the chase. Kiwi Kid drops down to ignite. Psycho Sid finds another for his team. 2-for-0, as well as 2-for-0 on Dragons. Vulcan well in control.
Smithy right there, again, with a beautiful smite steal. Crumbs, he was waiting around for the combo with the Resonating Strike and the smite, but he couldn't wait long enough because it was going to time out. Everyone stopped hitting the dragon, so he was forced to back off there. And Smithy just came in with a beautiful steal.
Good job then by Smithy, making everything happen. Of course, the blue buff going over to Scar on the side, but Vulcan with a lot of control. Will they keep pushing in for this turret? Looks like they're going to. Smithy, Bloodwater, Zuna, they've been together for a lot of this game, actually. A lot of the pressure has been these three champions, and look how fast that turret's going down, but they've got to be careful. The rest of Dignitas are showing up.
They got 5 members chasing him. Crumbs lands the slow.
The Crescendo using the top side as well, trying to get away from Scar, but the explosive cast is still there. There's the push on forward. Barrel roll off into Bloodwater. Bloodwater does not have flash available. Will they need to push in more? ManCloud showing up to defend the team. There's a knockback into ManCloud. He burns exhaust though. Scar's got to be careful. Crumbs low HP as well. Lee Syndra puts him across the map, and there's 2 kills picked up. Beautiful job right here. But the Requiem, will it be enough? Crumbs puts on the shield. He still goes down. ManCloud is massive, but it's a 2-for-1 still in Dignitas' favor.
And the danger's still there. There's a spider waiting in that bush. Zuna and Smithy still have to run.
Kiwi Kid looks for a bit more, doesn't quite find it. 2-for-1 Dignitas. Psycho Sid on cleanup duty now, pushing this top lane, and no one from Dignitas actually is here to stop him. But still good things for Vulcan, honestly. They lose a fight, but they keep pushing.
Yeah, he was up there the whole time pushing away, but missing that tank really did hurt Vulcan, and it's a small step for Dignitas in the right direction. They got a little bit of gold back, and they just have to stop the actual tower from going down, and it'll be worth it.
It looks like, yeah, it's going to survive with just a little bit of health bar left. Of course, the rest of Dignitas able to keep the farm going. Want to take a look back at the AD carries because Zuna, well, sorry, actually, let's start with I'm a Cutie Pie. You talked about the Bloodthirster, like the last Whisper coming in, the early burst damage. He's got that Bloodthirster done. He had a full completed item. Has a Zeal as well, so that's kind of nice. Zuna only just now has finished his Infinity Edge, so suddenly now Zuna's got a big spike in power. He can start contributing a little bit more to the fights. That could be an even better thing for Vulcan.
Yeah, Infinity Edge on Tristana, extremely scary because Zuna actually does max that rapid fire second right after his explosive shot. So he's only got one more point into it, which gives him so much attack speed to go along with that, the extra crit there.
A very scary explosive urinal indeed. And it's going to be all kinds of terrifying, I would say, for Dignitas, despite the fact that they're the one with Fiddlesticks. Who's going to jump in. There's a knockback on a Mancloud. That's exactly what Skara wanted. Look at the damage output coming across. One more hit to go. Mancloud finally falls over, but Jarvan is helping. Look at the just surround there. Skara has nowhere to go. Shutdown goes to Smithy. 2 for 1 as I'm a Cutie Pie died in the bottom lane. Zuna and Bloodwater making good things happen.
Oh, Skara was the one person on Dignitas who did not want to die because he had that 500 gold bounty. It was already maxed out on him. He was the one racking up the kills, and Smithy actually is able to claim that one.
And of course, the secondary turret did go down as well. Forcing the flash from Patoy. Nice jump in from Psycho Sid roaming out of his lane. Forcing summoners away. Bloodwater rejoining the team as well.
And Zuna's knocking on the bottom inhibitor turret door.
And this is so massive. Only Patoy showing up. Finally, Cutie Pie as well. There's a sound. This could be rough. Zuna, can you jump away? There he does jump away. All right. So survives just barely. Almost was in Terrify range. That could have been scary.
And Vulcan are just going to continue to pressure this lead in because they had such a good laning phase with such a late game team. They're feeling extremely confident. This is all going according to game plan here. Now all they have to do is wait, continue to have Zuna split pushing side lanes and ward up with Bloodwater. As long as he wards up that bottom side of the jungle, Tristana is an amazing split pusher for an AD carry. Not only does he have great wave clear with explosive shot, but he's got 2 forms of disengage with the ulti and the rocket jump.
Beautiful stuff. Ooh, nice steal right there. That's going to be Smithy taking that one away. But of course, as a team set up around the map, we do have a replay, of course, of that beautiful Tristana kill on I'm a Cutie Pie.
Red buff Zuna goes in. He's definitely one of the most aggressive ADs, rocket jumping forward a lot. And Bloodwater also helping with the extra slow power chord.
And the slow power is so good for these guys, of course. Vulcan still strangling the map. Almost 10,000 gold in the lead for these guys. The rest of Dignitas kind of on the back foot. See what they can do to turn this game around. They've been looking for those Gragas picks, but they just haven't really found one in a while now.
And the clock is really ticking here. We've got Mandatory Cloud sitting on not only the Rod of Ages, which is already fully stacked, but almost a fully stacked Archangel Staff and an extra needlessly large rod. He is about to just shoot his AP through the roof here, and we already saw how much damage it did to Crumbs in the last time he used it. It's going to be pretty much destroying the entire team of Dignitas here, so they're going to have to pull out some picks on the side lanes of the map to get back in this one.
And of course, there's a good chance that Needlessly Large Rod becomes Zhonya's and no longer becomes pickable. It's like, yeah, you want to knock me in for Defile for 3 more seconds? That'd be nice. I'd appreciate that. So good luck, Dignitas. Seems like the picks for Vulcan have done very well for them so far. Scar, though, at least will be continuing to wear that blue buff. He's standing on a ward. There's a good chance he gets to take it anyway. There we go. Blue buff for Scar. He's going to keep his cooldowns nice and low. Max CDR thanks to the blue and Chalice. But Vulcan, they've been doing it all game. They've been controlling the map. And now this dragon is going to continue to be theirs. That I believe makes number 3 or 4. So they're just not giving anything up. They're 4-0 on turrets. They're up in kills. They're up everything.
Yeah, congratulations, Scar, on the blue buff because Smithy wasn't there this time. They did have the timer, though. The reason he wasn't there is because they were grabbing Dragon.
Yeah, I think I'd take that trade if I were Vulcan.
And they immediately send Zuna back to the bottom lane. He actually, if he had hesitated a little bit there and QtPie had gone to farm that wave first, Zuna would have gone into dual QtPie.
But now here's the risk. There's no wards in the bottom jungle that spots the rotation from mid into the bottom lane. So Zuna is actually pretty blind to any rotations Dignitas pulls in here. He's got to rely on the other champions being spotted in the lanes. Otherwise, he's unsafe.
He doesn't wear his glasses anyways. If there are wards there, he probably wouldn't see him.
He leans so far forward, he can't even see down to the bottom right corner.
He has gone with a different item build than usual, though. He is just one of the biggest proponents of that Blade of the Ruined King on almost all AD carries.
Yeah.
He's actually opted for the Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer combo this time, which just means his late game damage is going to be even more insane than usual.
In case they needed the help. Well, Vulcan still on the push. You're seeing Psycho Sid now, Sunfire Cape completed, and making his way down, gets the secondary turret in the top lane. That makes it 5-0. Of course, we'd already seen the bottom lane fall down as well, where Zuna is just kind of habitating.
And because Vulcan are still splitting like this, you know, the reason they're splitting is because they're so confident in their lane phase. They've been winning each one so easily that they don't have to group up yet. But it does open up the small possibility here for Dignitas to make a play on one of these split-pushing side lanes and pick somebody off.
You were seeing them move down right there. You actually saw Fatoy try to jump in, but Smithy was already there to play defense, so unfortunately no rotation kill for Dignitas. But Zuna inhabiting that bottom lane was putting some good pressure on a QtPie. That inhibitor turret down about to half HP. That's going to make things very rough for Dignitas. They're still losing their base to this slow and steady Tristana push.
They're not going to change plans here. Trying to keep up the pressure. They actually send Smithy down there to throw the flag for a little bit of extra attack speed for Zuna.
And Smithy getting chased down right now. QtPie has the red buff. Crumbs comes in as well, lands another slow onto Smithy. Zuna using Buster Shot to get away. The dash away from Smithy as well. Vulcan are still giving Dignitas some deference, saying, yeah, you do have team fights. We got to be a little careful.
And they hold on to the crescendo that fight. They didn't even have to blow the cooldown. That was the disengage from Tristana that we talked about, where he's so strong at split pushing, and Smithy on Jarvan is so mobile, they're able to pull back. So they don't end up paying for that split pushing style that they were using, and Dignitas let them slip through their fingers here.
And also, there's a Mikhail's Crucible done now for Bloodwater, so we can remove that free second fear off the choice target, whether it's ManCloud, whether it's Zuna, anyone they really care about. He can drop the Terrify off. And that just is another thing going well for Vulcan. Part of that's because of their global gold lead.
That just frees up Zuna to build full offense here. Because even if he gets ulted aside by Skara, he's got the rocket jump. And he'll be able to reposition one time in the fight. It looks like they're just going to pull back. They've already cleared out this Baron. So it can go down without Dignitas ever knowing.
Look how fast it's dying as well. Zuna with the rapid fire last hits that one. Smithy spotting a little bit early. And of course, the damage output of Karth is very high as well. But now, the Baron being worn on Team Vulcan, complementing their nice red health bars so nicely with that purple. And they're going to move on towards the Dignitas base. The secondary middle turret, the only Tier 2 standing.
Vulcan looking so scary now. The playoffs are going to be very exciting because not only are they just crushing Dignitas right now, but they beat Cloud9 again. So if someone's going to be giving Cloud9 a run for their money, I think it will be Vulcan here during the playoffs. I'm definitely looking forward to that fight.
Teams are definitely looking very good. Vulcan especially, of course. You see them still continue that tri-lane push, and it's funny to think back in the spring split when Dignitas was so dominant. That was kind of how they were winning games. We got a big early game lead, a lot of good ganks. Let's push all the lanes until something cracks.
Well, this is a strategy that you can only use when you're winning that big. You can't pull one of these, push all the lanes, unless your composition are all champions with massive disengage that can just escape. You have to be winning all these lanes for this to work, because everyone is pushing their minion waves up to the turrets to keep vision of Dignitas and keep them inside their base. The Cocoon misses, so Psycho Sid goes crazy again.
A lot of damage coming out there, waiting right on top of where the Cocoon had landed. Kiwi Kid dropped dangerously low, and if you want, just go for Requiem. Goodbye, Kiwi Kid. Another kill picked up in the same way as before. 5-2-2 mandatory Cloud, and Cutie Pie gets the
Scar
blue buff.
misses.
Scar misses the ulti, has to dash over the wall. ManCloud nice and low on HP, but the re-engage coming across from Sid. ManCloud had popped his shield, gets kicked away by Crumbs. He will not be part of this fight anymore, but Psycho Sid really wants blood right here. Cutie Pie just gets chunked down right there. Bottom lane turret goes down to the duo lane, and ooh, the flash from Crumbs keeps him alive. Sid still walking forward. Finds Skara. Smithy, can you have the damage? Yes, you can. Another kill picked up. 3 for 0. And a lot of turrets going down.
Psycho Sid and Mandatory Cloud just beat the entire team of Dignitas. The 3 members of Vulcan were just down bottom, shoving in that bottom lane. It was just Psycho Sid and Mandatory Cloud bullying everyone right there.
Total
this
bosses.
is definitely over.
This is look at that. They've got 5 people hitting the turrets. They've got minions there as well. In 32 minutes, this is going to be Vulcan's game. Almost flawless victory. 0 turrets. Psycho Sid is like spamming emotes at this point. Just going for the twist, doing some dance moves. That's going to be the Nexus falling over. Vulcan securing 2nd place. They are into Season 4. They've got a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Congrats to Vulcan.
Well deserved, too.
Yeah.
They really came out big today. Both of those games were decisive, very well executed, and quick.
Yeah, the execution, I think, is a good... ManCloud doing his best Zac impression right there. That's actually pretty well done. I want to see him cosplay as Zac in one of the games, pull a shoe shade from Season 1. I think that'd be good. And there's Dignitas. Cutie Pie, always with a smile on his face, always has fun playing the game. He's like, yeah, well played, guys.
Not quite the hair flip we're looking for this time.
But it also does move Dignitas now half a game away from Curse. If Curse wins their showdown tomorrow, they'll actually have tied Dignitas for, I believe, 5th. And, of course, also Dig, still only 2 games away from Coast as well, if Coast wants to make their jump back up in the standings. So the game's still meaning a lot. So Vulcan's safe. Dignitas, they got some things to worry about.
Yeah, Vulcan and Cloud9 are still feeling pretty good today. Everybody else, very much worried, very much scrambling. Nobody else is really happy with their spot right now. They definitely want to continue to keep up the quality of games in the rest of the Super Week.
Yeah, you want to move up as far as possible, want to keep the wins up there. Not only feel good and have momentum and be one of the teams that people are afraid of, but just to have the better seeding into the playoffs, right? Coming in into 3rd place just is better than coming in 6th. I just feel it's got to be the case because I'm clearly the stronger team. You get a better opponent. Now, guys, we've got to take our last break of the day, but when you return, we'll be joined by Vulcan's Bloodwater and ManCloud to talk about locking down 2nd place. And then we'll break down the best plays of day 1 from Super Week and update the standings heading into the last 14 games of the summer. Don't go anywhere. The North American League Championship Series will be right back.